Welcome to the Blue Valley Return to Learn plan and the all-virtual option for the 2020-2021 school year. The information to follow will detail eligibility for the program, parent or guardian and student commitments, registration, and many other details regarding the virtual option for kindergarten through 12th grade students. For the 2021 school year, Blue Valley students will have an all-virtual option. This option is open to all Blue Valley students, K through 12, and will provide an experience grounded in the same Blue Valley curriculum and taught by Blue Valley teachers. The learning environment will mirror the rigorous, safe, and caring in-person experience. The weekly commitment for students is detailed by grade level. The daily time commitment will be comparable to the in-building experience. The learning activities that will make up this time will include computer-based activities, offline independent work, and live synchronous activities with teachers and classmates. The family responsibility will require that students are monitored daily to ensure they are participating in making weekly progress. Younger students will require additional parental supervision to help students navigate courses and course content. There will also be a daily log of activity that will need to be completed by families that will be submitted to the Kansas Department of Education to document student participation in the virtual option. Any K-12 student in the Blue Valley School District is eligible for the VirtualED program. The program is not available for students who do not reside within the Blue Valley School District boundaries. The same proof of residency will be required as a brick and mortar school. Students with IEPs may choose the VirtualED option. When a student signs up for VirtualED, the IEP team will meet to determine what accommodations and modifications are necessary to access VirtualED and what specialized instruction and/or related services are needed to provide a free and appropriate public education. While teachers and special education staff will be able to provide many accommodations, specialized instruction, and related services in a virtual format, some services simply are not possible to implement in the online educational setting. The IEP team, including parents, will convene to determine the best course of action for an individual student. The age requirements for the VirtualED program are the same as in-person schools. These age requirements are determined by state law and the Blue Valley Board of Education policy. Kindergartners must be 5 years of age by August 31st to enroll.
Breakfast and lunch will be provided to students in the VirtualED program who choose to take advantage of this option. Breakfast and lunch will be available to all students at the paid meal prices or for those who qualify based on application at free or reduced costs. Details are still being determined, but the pickup process will look similar to this spring's drive-through distribution.
The VirtualED program cannot accept temporary or short-term placements at this time. Families will work with their home school in the event a student will need to be out of the in-person setting temporarily. A mid-year registration option will be provided to Blue Valley families. At the conclusion of the first semester, there will be an opportunity for students to transition back to an in-person setting from virtual education or vice versa. Students who register for the all-virtual option will need to remain in the program for a full semester. At the end of first semester, a transition opportunity will be provided for those students who wish to return to an in-person setting at their home school. If a student isn't achieving success in the virtual setting, the VirtualED staff will work to provide support to students to ensure they are maximizing their learning potential in the virtual setting. Students will be expected to commit a comparable amount of time to their virtual classwork that they would in an in-person setting. This is a full-time program, and students will need to be available for instruction and activities during normal school hours and on normal school days. The VirtualED program will follow the same district calendar with respects to no school days and breaks as the rest of the schools in Blue Valley. Blue Valley will provide K-2 students with an iPad, grades 3 through 8 students with a Chromebook, and grades 9 through 12 students with the MacBook Air. All components of the district's acceptable use policy will be enforced, and filtering of content will be in place as if they were on site. IT support will also be provided for VirtualED students. Families will need reliable internet access for a student to participate in the program. Blue Valley will work with families who have unreliable or no internet access to ensure their students' ability to participate in the program. Students will use the computer to complete many tasks and engage with their teacher and classmates in a virtual setting. However, students will also spend a significant amount of time offline to complete individual assignments, do projects, and study. Students in the VirtualED program learn the same curriculum as their in-person counterparts. How they learn, the instructional strategies, and the learning activities will differ in some cases due to the opportunities that the virtual setting offers. Virtual teachers will continue to personalize instruction and the learning experience of students and work to meet the needs of all learners in the class. Students in the VirtualED program will be provided comparable and, in many cases, the exact same resources that their in-person peers use. Many resources, such as textbooks, may be provided digitally. Depending on the course, students may also receive a physical textbook as determined by the VirtualED staff. Information about the distribution of these learning resources will come prior to the start of school. Students in the VirtualED program will have live or synchronous sessions with their teachers on a regular basis. Students will have the opportunity to learn directly from their teacher and engage with their classmates on the Zoom platform. Synchronous sessions will be scheduled by the teacher and will complement the online and offline work students do asynchronously. Students in the VirtualED program will continue to develop their skills in social-emotional components. Through integrated lessons in the classes, they will have the opportunity to learn and apply these skills. Additionally, students will continue to engage in lessons from the counselor about these important skills. Students have access to the library program. There are regularly scheduled pickup times for students to exchange library materials. Students will receive information about this process and how to access library materials from their school. The VirtualED program is not a self-paced program. While students will have some level of flexibility in how and when they complete their work, teachers will post weekly assignments, engage in synchronous sessions, and administer assessments throughout the semester. This is not a program in which students can compact schoolwork, work ahead, or skip content. Likewise, students will be expected to keep pace with the instruction and learning activities provided. Failure to do so will prompt intervention from VirtualED staff. Classes may be made up of students from other schools. When possible, attempts will be made to keep students from the same school in common classes. It will not be possible to have all homogeneous classes made up of students from the same home school. Applying learning in relevant and authentic situations is an important part of the learning process. In a virtual setting, every attempt will be made to continue to provide students with the opportunity to engage in hands-on activities. The virtual setting and digital tools may be used in new and innovative ways to accomplish this or alternative learning experiences that allow students to learn the targeted skills. Students will receive grades for work completed in the VirtualED program. Unlike continuous learning of the spring of 2020, grades are in effect. Students should receive regular feedback on their work. Students and families will be able to use Canvas to review feedback and see current grades in a course. Students in the VirtualED program will receive progress reports and report cards on the same timetable as their peers in their home school. These reports will be available to view online in Parent View and Canvas. All teachers in the VirtualED program are fully licensed through the state of Kansas for the subject that they teach. Additionally, these teachers are Blue Valley staff who understand Kansas state standards, Blue Valley curriculum, and the high expectations for learning in our district. Some teachers at the middle and high school level will also teach in-person courses. Students in the VirtualED program will be able to participate in CASHA-sanctioned sports and activities for the 2020-2021 school year. Information about sports and activities will come from the home school. Students in the VirtualED program will have access to counseling services. The program will have a counselor who will work with building counselors in students' home schools to ensure students receive the support they need in the area of academics, social emotional issues, and career and post-secondary options. Parents, guardians of all students are required to monitor their student daily, ensure students are making weekly progress in the course, and help their student navigate through the course. This on-site supervision and support are critical in the early years, while students in older grades begin to work more independently. Unlike the spring of 2020, parents and guardians will have a support supervision role and not have a role akin to a teacher. Parents and guardians are asked to ensure that all work students submit is 100% their own. It can be hard to allow students to submit work containing mistakes, but we know that this is how students learn and grow. Virtual ed teachers need to see a student's true abilities and be able to provide feedback and work with students as genuinely as possible. Although virtual ed teachers will deliver regular instruction, parents and guardians are an important part in their students' education. Younger students will require additional adult supervision and support in course navigation and proceeding through coursework. It is important for the parent or guardian to ensure their younger child is completing his or her own work so teachers know how to provide additional learning support. Families can expect regular communication from their students' teachers. Canvas and email will be the main platform. Within Canvas, parents and guardians will be able to access student coursework and assignments in addition to current grade information. Teachers will have regular office hours in which families will be able to have more immediate or live interaction with teachers. Additionally, conferences will be conducted at the same time as in-person schools. Elementary students will take all their core class offerings and physical education, art, music, and Spanish. Middle school students will take their 4 core class offerings and choose 3 electives from the list. High school students will take 7 classes from the list. When enrolling, please be sure to enroll in the classes needed to meet graduation requirements. If you are unsure of what courses you need, you can access your transcript on Parent View.